Welcome dear students. After completion of two of the important forms of business organization, we shall move to yet another forms of business organization. It has been perceived that the inherent limitations of a particular form of business organization and the ever growing expansion of industrial and business activity have paved the way for an alternative courses of business or alternative forms of business organizations. The limitation of sole proprietorship or of joint Hindu family business have paved the way for yet another important forms of business organizations which redress or which tries to take into account the limitations that were present in the earlier forms. So today we shall deal with such form of business organization. The topic for today's discussion is partnership. Before we describe what a partnership is, as I have said at the outset, and we have seen in our previous discussion, be it sole proprietorship or be it joint Hindu family business, the inherent limitation was of scarcity of resources or lack of resources. There was lack of managerial ability. Then there was lesser number of person who can bear the risk, or rather the risk involved in a business, it was too heavy for an individual or for a limited number of people. So therefore, we moves on to yet another form of business, partnership. Now, if we are to define partnership, now part means share. So here, people who have agreed to carry on a business, they have a motive of having a share out of the profit which they earn from the common business. So that is the purpose of partnership. It's a business which is being carried by two or more person for sharing the profit out of the common business. If we are to define what is a partnership, as I have written here, and this is the definition of Professor L.H. Henne. He has said, partnership as a relationship that exists between two or more person. Now, this relationship between two or more person, they must be capable of making a contract or entering into an agreement. And then these person who are capable of contract or making an agreement, they enters into a relationship, that is, they enters into an agreement to carry on a business. They carry on a business, and then out of that business, the business which is being carried on by them, it means joint involvement of the partners. So they have started the business to share the profit, or with a view of having some private and personal gain. That is the purpose why two or more person engage in a partnership business. Section 4 of Indian Partnership Act 1932 has rightly defined partnership as an agreement between two or more person who have agreed to carry on a legal business, to carry on a legal business, and that business is either managed by all or any of them acting for all. That is the definition that is given by Partnership Act. Now when we talk of Partnership Act, it means there is a specific act which regulate these forms of business, that is partnership business. To be noted over here that on the basis of the discussion or the concept of partnership, we can conclude that over here partnership has come into existence because only of the need of the business for expansion and diversification, which necessitate the requirement of larger or greater capital, better management ability or better managerial skills, and sharing of the risk. So these were the three basic reasons which have paved the way that if the number of business activities or the quantum of operation of scale of the business increased, it required more capital to be invested. It required a greater, larger or a skillful managerial ability so that the business can be managed properly. And above all, the risk also multiplied, and therefore the risk has to be shared. This calls for not one but many number of people to share the risk and provide the required amount of capital or fund that is necessitated. So Indian partnership has rightly defined that it is an agreement. It simply says that it is an agreement, no relation, between two or more persons. So the very basis of relationship between two or more people is an agreement. Now this agreement can be written or it can be verbal, oral. So we shall see when we discuss the features, but as of now, partnership as defined by section 4 of Indian Partnership Act simply states that it's an agreement between people or between partners who have agreed to carry on a business, and this business is either managed by all or any of the partner acting for all. So on the basis of such definition and discussion, let us discuss the highlights and the features of partnership business. The first feature is two or more person. We know that partnership is a relation, and this relation between people, two or more people. So first of all, a person cannot agree into an agreement with himself. There has to be another person with whom he agrees on some terms and conditions. So the very basis of the relations, it emerges out of an agreement between two people. The very basis of this relationship is an agreement, and this agreement cannot be concluded with oneself. There has to be more than one person. So there has to be more than one person, and there has to be an existence of an agreement. The people who have agreed to form a partnership, they enter into an agreement, they enter into a contract. Now if you discuss further, who can enter into a contract? Can a minor be a partner? So therefore I have made a clarification that who are the two persons who can enter into an agreement or who are capable of making a relationship, forming a relationship, business relationship. The three basic features. First, A person, the person who are entering into an agreement, they must be major. As per Indian Majority Act 1875, they must be major. That is, they have attained the age of majority. 18 years, we know. Second thing is that they must be of sound mind. They are not afflicted with any forms of insanity, be it lucid interval or any other form of permanent incapacity. Now, why they should be of sound mind? Because when a partner is entering into an agreement, they must be able to foresee the consequences of their action. They must be able to understand the impact of the terms and condition on the interest of each partners. So therefore, they must be of sound mind. They must be capable of giving their own consent. That is the meaning. So they are capable, if they are of sound mind, they can be capable of giving their consent. They can be able to understand the repercussions of the terms and conditions on the interest of the partners. And third one is, those person should not have been disqualified by any other law on the land. If any of the law prohibits them to enter into an agreement, they become incapacitated. They cannot enter into an agreement. So, in two or more persons, there are many other aspects. It points out that to form a partnership, the minimum number of persons should be 2. But can there be any maximum number? Sure enough. Earlier, law provided that in case of banking business, there would be 10. And in case of other, maximum number would be restricted to 20. But now, with the amendment in Company Act 2013, that was carried out, which provide and which enables the government provision of Companies Amendment Act 2013, it enables the government to prescribe what should be the maximum number subject to the limit of 100. Even the government can raise the maximum number to 100, not more than that. And as of now, government has notified by its rule under company law the maximum number of partners in any business to be 50. So therefore, the maximum number of partner is 50, not more than that. So what we see, the minimum requirement to enter into an agreement to form a partner is 2, and the maximum is restricted to 50. Second aspect, there has to be an agreement, or rather, who are the person who can enter into a partnership business? So what are the necessities of a partner? The necessity is that they must have attained a majority, age of 18 year or 21 year as the law prescribed. They must be of sound mind, means they must be able to understand, apprehend the impact of the terms and conditions or their decisions, and they must be able to give their consent freely. They must not be under the influence of any undue influence, any sort of extortion or any other external force, some thoughts, no, some sort of coercion, no. They must not be under the influence of any coercion, any undue influence or any other thing. They must be free to give their consent. That is the meaning of having a sound mind. And they must not be disqualified by any of the law on the land. So that was the first, that is, there has to be 2 or more person, and so many things. things that goes on with those person who can form a partnership. Then the next one is existence of an agreement. Let us analyze the definition first. We have already written between persons. Persons highlight that there has to be more than one person. Partnership cannot be formed with oneself. A person cannot form with himself. Secondly, competency to contract. Who are competent to contract? Now this is a competency to contract. Those persons who are entering into a partnership business must be competent to contract. They must fulfill the competency that is required to form a partnership. Then they who have agreed. Now there is an agreement. I can use the word agreement as consensus ad idem. We can use this word. There has to be an agreement, a consensus among those persons on specific terms of partnership. They must agree as to the amount of capital to be invested by them, the share of their profits, who can manage the business, is there any salary to the person who manages the business or who looks after the business to be given. So there are various terms which underlies the basis for a partnership relationship. Now here we have to consider one thing, that is it these terms and conditions should be oral or it should be written. Law prescribes that it can be oral or it can be written as well, but it is advisable always to have a written agreement. It is advisable to have a written agreement. Now when the terms and conditions of partnership are laid into a written document, such document is known as a partnership deed. When the terms and conditions or the basis of agreement between two or more persons is taken down on a document or to a document, the document is termed as a partnership deed. Generally, it is advisable that there should be a written deed, simply to avoid any future dispute that may takes place between the partners with regard to any issues. So generally there has to be an agreement. It can be written or it can be oral, but preferably it should be written, simply to avoid any sort of disputes in future. Then coming to the next feature is lawful business. Suppose I agree with one of my friend that we will now from tomorrow onwards we shall just lurk into house of somebody's every night, and we should rob the articles, the assets, the properties from various people, from their houses. Can this business be termed as illegal? No. A business, the object of which cannot be legal, is said to be an illegal business. And partnership prescribe that the partners' business for which they are making an agreement, it has to be legal in the eyes of law. It should be lawful. The object with which it is carried, it must be justified in the eyes of law. That is the meaning of lawful business. There cannot be a business which goes against the aspirations, against the wish of the law. So if a partnership is carried for an illegal business, that is void ab initio. That is not a partnership. That is an illegal business. That cannot be termed as a partnership. So therefore, existence has to be of a lawful business. Then the next one is earning or sharing of profit and risk bearing. Then one of the important feature for which the business is carried out, the business is carried out to share not only the profit but the risk which is also involved in the business. Now this sharing of the risk may be agreed or it may be equal. When the partner agrees, they may agree to share the risk or the profit either on a fixed proportion or equally as they agree. Business cannot be taken only for sharing risk. It is carried out for sharing the profits as well. Now again here a question arises. Can a minor be a partner in the profit? In the profit. Surely a minor can become a partner in the profit, but he cannot be a partner in the partnership business. He cannot be a partner or member in a partnership business. He can take a profit, whatever it is. Next comes mutual agency. I have highlighted utmost good faith. Now what is the meaning of this? The business that is being carried out under a partnership is either it is managed by all or any of the partner acting for all. Now this points out that the partners are mutual agent of each other. The partner or a partner binds the other partner as well as the firm. The partners are collectively known as firms, as well as the partnership firm business for the deeds that it has carried out in the course of general affairs of partnership business. If any of the partner has done anything for the business and others partner are bound by the act of such partner. Similarly, if the business has done something, other partners are bound by the act of the business. So there is a mutual agency between the partner, and this mutual agency exists, or rather it points out that this agency exists on utmost good faith and trust. The partner are mutual agent. There is a relationship of utmost good faith and trust. It is presumed that the partner will act to the best interest of the other partner. They would not indulge in any activity which is against the interest of the rest of the partner. It is a mutual agreement. That is an agreement inter se between the various partners. The terms and condition has already been laid in partnership deed. So therefore, these partners, they are mutual agents of each other. What they do, partner do the work for a business, they do it on behalf of other partners. So a partner binds other partner by his deed. Next feature is unlimited liability. Here we have discussed at length what is the concept of unlimited liability. It simply means that the personal property of the partners can be used for payments of business debts and obligations. That is the thing. In case a need arises, then the personal property of the partners can be used for satisfying the business obligations. We can use their personal assets, their personal property. Next comes transfer of interest. Since a partnership is a mutual agency, a partner has agreed with each other. So without the consent of others partner, a partner cannot transfer his interest to any other person. There is a restriction on the transfer of interest. Suppose I am a partner in a business. If I wanted to sell my interest to somebody else, can I do so? No. Unless it is permitted by or agreed upon by the other existing partner, I cannot transfer my interest. It must be noted over here that even if my son, who is a minor, since a minor cannot be a partner in the firm, but the moment if he attains a majority, can he be admitted to a partnership? Can he claim that yes, my father was a member or he was a partner in your business, so now I wanted to inherit his share and I wanted to be in the partnership? He cannot claim so. But he could be admitted to the partnership if the other partner agrees to his wish, otherwise not. So there is restriction in the transfer of interest. I cannot sell my share, my interest to any third person. Then the next feature is continuity. It refers to the existence of the partnership business. Partnership business comes to an end with any of the feature, like any of the event with any partner, like death, like incapacity, insanity, insolvency, or if the court orders or some law prohibits or the terms of partnership comes to an end. So here, continuity or business operations shall continue till the partner have agreed, and in the event of any mishappening with any of the partners, partnership is deemed to cease to exist. It is deemed that the life of the business has come to an end. And finally, registrations, whether the business should be registered or not. Law prescribes that it is desirable, not mandatory. Partnership registration is not mandatory. It is desirable. And I have already discussed why it is desirable to have a written agreement. The same reason over here, so that in future we may not, or the partnership business should not suffer from any of the consequence of disputes among the partners. So therefore, it is preferred that business should be preferably registered, not mandatorily. So these were the highlights of partnership business relating to the concept, and then coming to the various features of partnership. We shall continue in the next class with the merits and demerits. Till then, keep learning and just have a look at it.